Leave your comments on the Ask Reddit sub, and I'll read your answers on the next episode of LWIAR. What video or recording is perfectly innocent, but becomes terrifying when you look into the story behind it? There's a video on YouTube called Shusha's Still Sleeping. A vlogger recorded his wife thinking that she was asleep, and making comments about how odd it was for her to still be asleep. It turns out she had actually died in her sleep, and the vlogger recorded her completely unknowing. That's just horribly sad, honestly sad face. My worst nightmare, waking up beside someone who has died. I used to always bug my last girlfriend when I would wake up at night. I would put my head against her and it would occasionally wake her up too. I never told her I did it because a few years before I came home to find my best friend and roommate dead in his bedroom, and I am constantly terrified something like that is going to happen again. I was looking at the comments and that was from 2017. He's still hearting responses from 2 months ago. Yeah, poor guy put on a bunch of weight and just does random food reviews alone, it seems frick. Well crap, I should go visit him. He's in the next town over from me. It looks like he gets mail from people though. Something extremely similar happened to me in boarding school with my roommate. I didn't record it but it was awfully similar. We had early morning PT then first period together. No show. Went back up to grab something during a lunch break, still sleeping. That's when I knew. Brain aneurysm at age 17. Missy ready. That must have been awful. I can hardly imagine. We had a class of 188, there was 175 of us left at graduation. I have stayed extremely close with his family and walked his little sister down the aisle last summer. This happened in 2006. The most frick thing was that I had to stay in not only the same hall but same fricking room for the rest of the semester. Extremely fricked up, and to this day I still have physiological problems from that. I went into the military a few years later and had terrible flashbacks from being in a similar environment. I lost so much sleep and weight they thought I was on drugs. This sounds retarded to be saying this crap, but he was my best friend. I forgot how much this crap affected me. Crazy times, can't believe it's been that long. It is what it is. This sounds rough, man, I'm sorry. Not even a lifetime of healing can protect you from crap like this. If you're ever feeling down, just send me a message. I'm more than willing to talk. That link is staying blue. Just watched it. There's nothing particularly disturbing that stands out. Besides the dead lady is one of the bigger caveats I've seen. It's more depressing than disturbing, really. It's pretty heartbreaking, to be honest. I literally went through all of the weird Reddit stories from Reddit history today and I had no reaction. When I read about this, my stomach dropped. My mother passed away recently. She just looked like she fell asleep. If you didn't know any better and just walked in, that's how it would have appeared. Edit. I'm utterly floored by such sympathetic responses. Since there are so many coming in, let me thank you here, in advance, for the positivity, for the curious. We knew it was coming and family gathered. She was not alone when she went in her own home, in her own bed, as she wished. If only we could all be so fortunate when our times come. I'm sorry for your loss. You don't see her at all. It's a dark room he peeks into for a second. I actually think he does subconsciously know, and the video is him in shock processing it. Yay, with the way he kept repeating, she's still sleeping. This looks like him trying to convince himself that she really is just asleep. Poor guy. IDK, I haven't seen other of his videos, but that was my first thought too. Like something about the way he was saying sleeping and how many times he said it almost in a row. Gave a vibe like he might be in shock and denial. That said, it's entirely possible, likely that I was just reading it like that because the only thing I knew going into it was that his wife was dead. U2.be, so I wouldn't call this innocent, but surprising. A news reporter is interviewing Stephen McDaniel about a missing woman, Lauren Gidding. During the interview, the reporter tells him that a body was found. Turns out to be her body. And McDaniel just kind of mentally shuts off. That would kind of be a normal reaction. Finding out an acquaintance of yours is missing, and then a body is found in the area where she disappeared. The kicker is that McDaniel is the one who murdered and hid Gidding's body, and he's coming to the realization that the police found her and HES officially fricked. Definitely eerie. More details. TrueCrimeDaily.com I just recently saw the interrogation alongside with some explanations, psychoanalysis on Jim Can't Swim, JCS, Criminal Psychology, YouTube channel. It goes into full detail about what happened prior to the murder. The dude was stalking the girl and killed her the day before she was going to move out. U2.be. Off. I was in place with him in college and I live in this city. I lived on the next street over. This case is buck wild. Holy crap, that's fricked. Have you watched his interview? He is like a zombie throughout the whole thing. If he really is pretending to be like that, then it is a bloody good effort. He maintains the demeanor for a couple of hours. Edit fix the link. Sorry. www.youtube.com edit 2. Here is his first full 2-hour interview. Creepy as hell. www.youtube.com. This is the same guy who pops up in threads like this pretty often because he was almost perfectly still for his entire interrogation. The time-lapse security camera footage of the interrogation looks like he is a photograph superimposed on the moving video. U2.be. Why move body lot when move body little do trick? I saw someone describe this as a tell. Trying so hard to not give any clues through body language you end up completely still the whole time. This is what I thought watching it. It's like a prey spotted by a predator hoping if it doesn't make any motions the predator will move on and it can get away. People talk of fight or flight, but it's actually fight, flight, freeze or friend. All four are instinctive reactions to being threatened. The last two are much more common in anybody who is cornered and knows they can't run or fight. Also very common in general for women and how a shocking number of date rape cases occur. If I'm nice to them, let them get it over with, I'll be okay, etc. I saw a low-quality video that first showed a street from the view of a balcony. Then the camera shook rapidly. Then it ended showing a mirror. I found out about this before that. The video was footage from a live stream that a 13-year-old girl recorded of her committing suicide. The camera shaking was the phone falling from her hands as she jumped off of her balcony onto the street. The phone ended up in the room because it fell back into it. That is RoRockin_1999. Video of her falling. She also had a song made after her. I suppose it doesn't need to be said, but the RoRockin video, while extremely blurry, is still disturbing. Edit. The song has closed captioning for subtitles if you want to read the lyrics. Besides being rather disturbing, this incident felt a bit too personal just from reading it. RoRockin_1999. Isn't there also a video of her playing the piano before her suicide? I listened to it. It was so freaking terrifying. You could hear her mentally deteriorate as she plays. Edit. So the link I left got buried, so here it is again. That part in Supersize Me where they're talking about how Jared Fogle is good with kids. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. Thanks for the karma and the destroyed inbox. Lol. My wife and I got our picture taken with Jared when he was doing a meet and greet at their Indianapolis Children's Museum. That picture did not age well. In retrospect, his meet and greet location choices were oddly specific and had little to do with sandwiches. His agent. Stop making me laugh at this. Mother Love by Queen. Freddie got most of the song recorded, but Brian has the last verse. At the studio, Freddie said he was tired and would finish the rest some other time. He never did. Resting at home during his final days, Brian came back later after Freddie's death and finished the last bit. I'd also add a show must go on. It was recorded in one take, with Freddie being gravely ill at the time of recording. He simply downed some vodka and then began to record the only take. Back in the 90s, there was a segment on the Jenny Jones show where a guy, Scott Amadure, confessed that he had a crush on a male friend, Jonathan Schmitz. Schmitz was so embarrassed by the appearance that he shot and killed Amadure 3 days after the taping. This case is covered in an episode of Trial by Media that's on Netflix. I highly recommend it. It's really interesting. That's freaked up in every way I can think of. Maybe not that innocent to begin with, but extra creepy knowing the truth. A video of an African grey parrot named Bud saying, "Don't freaking shoot." He witnessed his owner, Martin Durham, being murdered by his wife. IIRC. Bud also mimicked both sides of verbal fights, alternating between a male and female voice. I believe the parrot testified in court. The wife was convicted. Edit. Bud did not testify. Sorry to get your hopes up. He was however a useful witness during the investigation. In bird culture, shooting your husband is considered a dick move. I am really appreciative for this bird person reference. It really lightens the mood as I go down this thread. Chris Watts pleading for the return of his pregnant wife and daughters. He confessed to killing them all the following week. U2.be. WASNT. This the dude who threw his kids in an oil tank and buried his wife a couple 100 feet away. Yes. What the frick? He strangled each one by one. The youngest eldest last before he killed her. She asked if he was going to hurt her. She had no defense wounds because she couldn't even fight back. He completely overpowered her. They were all stuffed into barrels. His wife at the time was pregnant with this man's child. Just because he wanted to run off with another woman. I think about what's every so often and my knuckles turn white. I do not support the death penalty. But this case, I might reconsider. He ended up with a bunch of life sentences and is in a maximum security prison. Which is too good for this man. * edited for better accuracy of the crime. I'm not an expert on the case. Please take what I read with a grain of salt. I am also aware that the victim's family did not see the death penalty. All I am saying is, I would not have been so gracious. Just because he wanted to run off with another woman. This crap is why I get so angry when I see men complaining about how women take half of everything. In the divorce war, I saw that line and my instantaneous reaction was just get a freaking divorce, but I bet this butt hole was one of those fricks who couldn't stomach the idea of splitting marital assets or, providing for the children he was abandoning. So instead of getting a divorce like any rational human would, he just murdered 3 people and an unborn baby because that's a normal freaking thing to do. I'm real mad. Sorry. Look up the Hart family crash. One of the victims was a child who had been in a viral photo for hugging a cop during the police brutality protest, and later was murdered by his parents after years of horrific abuse. The interaction looks a whole lot more like a child desperately in need of help rather than their feel-good moment it was made out to be at the time. Those women make me so mad every time I think about this case. Trucking those babies all over the place to show off being 2 white women with a bunch of black babies, then force them to virtue signal. So many stories from so many places about the kids begging for food, etc. Just awful. Horrible story from start to finish. Those poor kids. I just heard about this on My Favorite Murder. I had no idea, and my heart breaks even more when I think about that haunted look on that kiddo's face in that picture. Now knowing what happened. The podcast Broken Hearts goes into further detail about this. Depressing but highly recommended. This video of a band performing in a bar in Thailand. Minutes later, the entire place catches fire and more than 60 people are dead. Also, the band's name is Burn, and the song they're singing is Linkin Park's In the End. Hi, Jack Neal. That's some Final Destination crap. That one reaction gif of the African man on the boat laughing. The man is Idi Amin, the cruelest, most violent despot in the history of Uganda, if not the entire African continent. And he's laughing at the interviewer asking him if it's true that he said that Hitler didn't kill enough Jews during the war. He did, in fact, say that. Definitely check out the movie, Last King of Scotland. Forrest Whitaker plays Idi Amin and does a damn good job at it. Edit. Movie title. In case we forget, he was fully supported by Saudi Arabia. When he was deposed, he lived out the rest of his life in Saudi Arabia without being brought to justice for his crimes against humanity. The ruling family of Saudi Arabia are even worse than Idi Amin. Edit. Thank you for my first ever award, kind stranger. Although I really wish the subject was a more pleasant one. Man, I really gotta stop reading these threads. Same, it's bedtime but now I don't think I'm sleeping. Thanks for watching LWIAR. The best of recent r/AskReddit submissions and comments. If you like this video, check out LWIAR too. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.